So upcoming, we're getting a pretty massive update with a whole load of new changes, particularly to runes, transmutation, and overall just an absolute ton of quality of life improvements. Now this is not an April Fool's joke, but they did actually make one. I couldn't fully translate it just yet, but yeah, I'm assuming all of this is just a bit of a joke, including the beer barrels from The Hobbit. But this actual new update comes with that new Runebook system, a change to our rune synergies, how the runes level up, including the ability to max level runes with only like green and blues, and what looks to be the ability to freaking craft Chaos Runes. Some weapon adjustments, a ton of quality of life improvements, including quick slots, damage floaters, trial guides, and just so much more. Let's go through everything. You can even have automatic material transmutation. Just be aware again, these updates are for the Korean server, but we're very likely to get the majority of them, if not all, this following Thursday. We will confirm with the patch notes tomorrow, but it can be very interesting to see what's actually going to happen so we can prepare ahead of time. So this runebook system, as we've explained before, you're essentially going to have all of your runes just tracked in this new system. You're not going to have to worry about inventory space whatsoever. This entire tab with all these runes completely gone. You will just have this page, you select your item, and then you slot in your certain runes that are available for you. The game will completely track all of the runes that you've had in the past. It will track the highest level of that rune, and whenever you obtain a new rune, it has a chance to be a higher level. They're changing the synergies, so all you'll need to do is actually unlock these slots, the synergy slots, and you gain the bonus. They're changing how the runes upgrade, so yes, they will still automatically level up whenever you obtain the duplicate of that rune, but they've also made it so that when it fails, you gain growth points, and those growth points can be checked in the gauge tooltip, and when you accumulate enough growth points, the rune will automatically level up. But this is not replacing our current system, this is just addition. This helps it so that when you fail, you're actually gaining a streak breaker, which will contribute to it leveling up the next time. And what is a massive improvement is they've actually changed it so you can grow up to level 80 with common to rare grade runes. So yeah, you will be able to get blue runes to level 80, green runes to level 80. So the advantage of actually obtaining those is perfectly fine. You can check this website, which I have actually shown before. It shows the probability for everything here. And like I showed, getting a rune from level 60 to 80 is a 77% chance it fails, with only a 23% chance it succeeds. So this change with the streak breaker is going to be a huge help to leveling up the runes. And that's why I recommended you save onto those rune chests. If you still have any, we're considering opening, still save them for when we get this update. But on from there, what looks like is the ability to craft Chaos Runes using our Rune Fragments. Now, since we're not going to have runes anymore in like the inventory, we're not going to use runes in material transmutation, you're basically not going to obtain rune fragments anymore. You can't dissolve runes and you can't material transmutate them. So they're changing up the crafting of runes. Currently, you can spend these fragments and these crystals and obtain these chests, and you obtain just your basic runes. But this seems to change all of that to Chaos Runes. You can even craft polished crystals. 100 of your fragments is equal to 1. And they appear to remove the cost of polished crystals from getting the runes, which again is kind of crazy to have Chaos Runes. Just be aware though, they're only rare, they're only blue Chaos Runes. So it will inevitably just be better off having purple runes. Maxed purple runes will just be more beneficial. 480 max health is the same as you're going to get on a max purple standard rune. So yeah, the advantage of those chaos runes is not actually that insane. But moving on, we have some weapon specific balancing. So your shadow strike with your dagger, you will now display an error if your target moves outside of maximum range. For the longbow, they fix an issue where the skill was not being used while jumping, even though you have the specialization where you're allowed to have movement. And they fixed the Leviathan daggers so that the duration extension of your Umbral and Thunder Spirit has been changed, so there's a maximum of 20 seconds. So you're no longer using that passive, be able to extend the duration indefinitely. What is a pretty massive quality of life improvement is what appears to be the ability to copy and paste quick slots. So I could copy my whole preset and you could just then at any time paste the full preset on top of like an empty one and instantly have my entire setup, rather than having to go and manually assign each one and move all the corresponding skills. They adjust the tooltips for like your basic defense skills. These are pretty lengthy right now, and they added the ability to change your damage floaters a little bit to customize them. You can turn them off. You can choose whether the damage floater values are like added up together or just separated, but damage over time and recovery are not affected by the simultaneous display of damage plotter effects. They added the ability to basically use your processed ores, so the ones you can sell, to be able to craft your arena purification stones. And they finally added an arena merchant to Herba Village. For your solo dungeon, huge quality of life improvement. You can now save your previous progress. So if you say beat the first boss but don't have enough time to continue, you can simply leave and the game will save that progress and you can continue on from there for the next time. However, be aware that when a new week comes around, all your progress will just get deleted. So you still only have a week to get them done, but at least now, if you are short on time, you can only do like one boss, you can do that. And your progress will be saved for the next time you want to jump in. It will ask you if you want to continue from where you left off. With material transmutation, you have options added to automatically material convert. So if you're obtaining a bunch of say green items or blue items and you don't want to have to deal with them, you can have it set up so that it automatically converts them all rather than stuffing your inventory full of junk that you don't want. I will say that junk is still somewhat useful to help a blessing stack on gear. Like all of this, I can still go to trait my certain items and I can use those to essentially stack more blessings. And if I'm not in a rush, I can ultimately max trait my item out just using all of this trash and thus gaining blessings, and eventually it will max trait it even with this garbage with like 2% chance. It will take a lot of items, but if I'm not in a hurry, it's pretty much the most efficient way, and you're ultimately blessing stacking for the next tier of content. But for those of you who don't want to deal with that, this is honestly a great option. And yes, rune material transmutation has been removed. A few updates here to your emote ring as well. You can slot by double clicking, and if an item's not owned, it will be like grayed out. And that is ultimately about it. Some other fixes here with regards to certain content, UI updates, controller updates, just some more quality of life. We should ultimately get all of these improvements on Thursday too, but we shall have to see and again confirm tomorrow when we get our official patch notes. You can have a bit of fun translating the April Fool's joke here. Can be quite amusing, I'm sure. They were titling it as April 1st update notes. Definitely looking forward to those rune changes. That's just huge. And if you want to be getting a whole bunch of chaos runes, you can totally save those fragments. Or even if you want to get more polished crystals, you should be able to actually craft polished crystals with rune fragments. But of course, if you want to be getting extra runes now, you could still craft them now, and then when this update drops, they'll probably completely remove this change. Of course, it could be slightly different for us on global. You can again see these are all the crafting recipes. And yes, you only have a total production of 100 crystals per character with those rune fragments. But you still will not be able to get rune fragments after this update anymore. There'll be no dissolving and no transmutating runes. It will all just be an automatic UI system, which is great in terms of just relieving all of that admin needed. You no longer have to freaking sort through hundreds of runes, figuring out which ones to save, which ones to delete. And honestly, I hope they make this change for artifacts too at some point. So thanks all for watching, and we'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.